Welcome to another episode of the Chrissy Mayer podcast. We are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel and click the notification icon. And if you're on iTunes, please go subscribe and leave me a sexy or creepy review on there. And I will promise to read the best or worst reviews every week, so long as they are 5 stars. So excited to have this guest on today. She is a model, social media influencer, a tourist, but more importantly, the host of the Eyes Up Here podcast, Lindsey Pelas. Hey, girl.
Hey, thank you for having me on your show.
I was about to say in the house, and no, we're in our own houses. We're in
Yeah. It's so intimate, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's like hot as balls in my apartment, but if I like put on like a fan or the AC, I have like an old AC. It sounds like a motorboat, like an old boat just like pulling away from the shore. So I have to just like sweat while I record.
Oh God.
and I was listening to some of your episodes, and I really love your podcast. And I noticed you had an original tweet, and then like I guess some of our fans like connected us, and you talked about this issue, which was the idea of like the prevalence of this like bitchy podcast culture and this like bitchy social media trend. And you talked about it briefly on your episode called Social Media versus Reality, and you mentioned you're like, I feel like, our phones are constantly learning, right? Technology is constantly getting to know us. And you said, you feel like maybe there's like explore page bait as far as like Instagram goes. And I'm sure there's ways of figuring us out on every app. Have you noticed this? Like you kind of like blew up in the last couple, correct me if I'm wrong, like last couple years, I think it was, you did a slow motion video with Dan Blazarian, and then you got like 1 million followers in like a month or so.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So, and that was like a couple years ago.
I think that was like 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
So in your like being involved in social media, how long have you noticed this trend for? Because for me, I feel like it's like maybe the last year really getting very intense, but it's definitely like the last couple of years. I'm noticing it more and more. When did it start to really kind of bug you?
Of the bitchy culture?
Mm-hmm.
God, I guess when I got into podcasting for sure, because there's so many famous podcasting styles and even titles that are like the bitch this, the bitch this. There's even books about, bitch this and bitch this.
Yeah, I have a book called Skinny Bitch, which I got years ago. Me and my sister both got it because like me and her and my mom, we'd be on like just a different diet every couple of months. And then the Skinny Bitch book, I mean, good content. It's all about like not having preservatives and staying away from like red meat and like other bad stuff. But like, it's so interesting like how insidious this like bitch culture has become.
Yeah. And now I feel like it's a little bit worser too, because it's the podcasts are put into, I got a weird text. The podcasts are like put into Instagram pages too. And so when I think of the bitchy culture and the bitchy podcast, I'm thinking of, it's a lot of fashion. It's a lot of snobby. It's like not very down to earth, probably not the kindest. I don't know. It just seems like I know that these girls would hate me. Like these are the type of girls who absolutely hate me. So I would never want to watch a show about them. Yeah.
None of my fans are into fashion. My fans are all like, just like they're comedy fans. A lot of middle-aged men enjoy me. That. And then but I'm a stand-up comic, and I really worked on and focused on my podcast like since the quar. And but I feel like when I go back on stage, like my fan base, like I really connect with women. Because all I do is like I shit on like kind of relationship norms and my past boyfriends, and I shit on myself, and I feel like I really connect to women on stage. But like since I've been developing like my comedy, my podcast more like online, I feel like I'm connecting more with like just comedy loving dudes. And it's interesting because I don't listen to like fashion podcasts. I mean, like I'm all about it in my Instagram. Like I feel like if I wasn't interested in comedy, I would have gone that way, because my eye is like I'm always like thinking of like, browsing and thinking about what looks good together. And, anytime there's like an event, I'm just like, doing my like Joan Rivers thing of like who looked horrible, who looked great.
Oh, that's fun.
I think what I've noticed, like, as far as like the podcast bitch culture, there seems to be like, if there's not a constant generation of, like drama, then like these people have nothing. And I notice it particularly like with these sort of like Hollywood YouTubers like Logan Paul and Mike Malik. I haven't followed these people until kind of recently. Like their whole lives are live streamed, and if there's not a drama or a beef, it's like there's nothing happening. And I've also seen it, like, I don't know, do you follow any of like the Barstool Sports podcasts?
I try not to.
Really?
One time they were like, one of the people from their show was like harassing me on Twitter, and then like they had like hundreds of people were texting me, and then I guess there were some girls who worked in the office who were sending texts saying, we're going to ruin this girl. She doesn't know what we're about. But like, just this, like,
this is for you? Ruin you? Yes, over what?
I don't remember why. I don't remember. It was just like some kind of turned into some crazy Twitter. I didn't know who these people were. Like, it's really not my cup of tea. I'm not into sports, period. But they have been using my photos for like articles and this and that. But yeah, they have this like fan base that is not really what I'm into.
Yeah, it's like, it seems very catty. It's like, and I didn't look into them at all. I thought they were just like a sportsy network, and they also have like some comedy shows, and they have some like girl hosts that like this one it was called like this really popular show. It was called like Call Her Daddy, and then recently those two hosts had like a drama.
Oh yeah, I was reading about that.
Yeah, and that's how it was fascinating, and I came to know about that podcast through the drama. So it's like, I guess in a way it's working, but it's interesting that I'm starting to see it with a lot of these podcasts that have nothing to do with comedy, like these non-comedians. It's like, it seems like they lean more into like the fabricated drama than just putting out a good product and being authentic and genuine.
It is interesting that now that's a part of, the branding. Like Barstool shows all of their inter-office kind of drama and whatever goes on, and it's become material for them. And it's really smart. But yeah, it's odd. I don't want to be on YouTube and a YouTube beef anytime soon.
Yeah. I just recently saw like their behind the scenes, like this is what their office looks like. And I was like, holy shit, this looks like a goddamn frat house. I'm like, there needs to be a mom. Someone needs to call their mom over and so they can start sweeping up, because there was just like clothes and garbage everywhere. And there's just, like cans of Red Bull. I don't know. It looked exactly like what I expected. And it's like, it is smart, because it is kind of like they're doing their own mini TMZ. And like every time they pan to a person, it's like, so-and-so, he does this show. That's the thing. It's like, if you're a person who likes the TMZ style and likes, the Inquirer version of whatever podcast, then you would be into that. But for me, it's like, I've had so many people like take shots at me over jokes and impressions, and I've had people try to cancel me over like my just putting out comedy and like doing my thing, that it really bugs me too. Like, I really hate seeing people come after somebody and just try to take them down. And it's like, you follow it back, it's like, it's ultimately because of jealousy, It's never somebody like doing better than you that you look up to or admire who's trying to like cut you down.
No, never. Yeah. It's crazy too. But humans, we have this like moral superiority complex too. So we almost feel like when we see someone doing something wrong, we get this little high that, oh, we're so much better than them. Look how shitty they are. We love, like, it's in our nature to shame, and we're not smart enough to see past it. There should be ways to understand like mistakes and canceling people, and when to put your foot down and when to, accept forgiveness, and it's also how long of a time period until someone changes, because mentally in 5 years you really aren't the same person. Every 7 years your atoms completely have replaced themselves.
Right.
You're not even physically made up of the same stuff you were made up of 7 years ago. So it's odd. It's an odd time. I think cancel culture is gonna chill out once people realize that it's just not a feasible way to live, because we are all very flawed. and very stupid.
Yeah, not only is it not feasible, and it's like everyone's kind of taking a turn at this. People it's having less of an impact. People right now, today, are trying to cancel Joe Rogan because he is in the sort of same friend circle as Chris D'Elia, who like right now is under fire because was texting a bunch of like underage girls, and his friends are so quick to throw him under the bus. I'm not friends with him. Like I was never like a fan of his, but I think a lot of people are being like, fuck this guy before any physical proof is coming out. Like I was telling somebody else, like he's a male comic. Like that's the thing about like women. Like if we find you funny, you can look like a garbage bag. Do you know what I mean? Like it takes so little for a woman to sleep with you, or maybe just me. I've slept with so many people I haven't been attracted to. If you're a funny dude, oh my God, do you ever get laid? And male comics clean up on the road. Like they, you go to Oklahoma and they're like, holy shit, no one's ever talked to me. And then the anonymity of it is you can just like blow in and out of town. It's like all the makings to be promiscuous. And I just feel like we need to see like more proof on the Chris D'Elia thing. And it's just like, he's just been reaching out to hundreds, if not thousands of girls. The odds are that a small sect of them, I think he unknowingly, I don't think he was checking everybody's age on each text.
Well, did you see there was one where she was like, hey, I'm 17. And he texted her back almost an exact year later. If you could even remember
really?
that, and that was like, well, this is concerning.
He said a Google alert. He put it in his calendar.
Yeah.
That's
like,
wild.
You have a notebook? Yeah. That's fucking, how would you remember even any kind of random person? And then to have saved it to text a year. I mean, that is weird.
Yeah, that's very telling. And remember how like crazy everybody was, like they couldn't wait for the Olsen twins to turn 18. Like that was like a
weird. Well,
countdown.
You remember Courtney Stodden too. I was just reading about, she's writing a book, and I guess she was saying like, the media made fun of her when she was 15 for being married to a 50-year-old, but in actuality, they should have been concerned and thought it was predatory behavior. But because Courtney Stodden had such a sexualized image so young, people were just slut shaming. They just forgot she was 15.
Wow.
So we're really like, this is definitely an awakening experience in life, because these, what's crazy? I was at the gym, because you do see like young people, and sometimes even now they physically look so adult. Like the kids on TikTok, they look like grown men and women. But the minute they open their mouth, it's very simple to know that they're a kid again.
Right.
I was at the gym, and there's one of these really, really famous like A-list 19-year-olds. She's like,
oh, do I know her?
Sure. She's like the best friend of like Kylie Jenner.
One
of the best
God,
friends.
what the fuck is her name?
I won't disclose the name, but one of them.
But everybody knows. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was so gorgeous and stunning. And as soon as she like did a FaceTime, you could hear that she was just a kid. Like
she was
just
FaceTiming at the gym.
She was FaceTiming at the gym. But you're like, oh my God, this is a kid. Like you look so adult, but you're a baby. You're just like a little kid who has a ton of money, but you're still a kid.
You're still a kid. I know. And I think that's what a lot of the teens are kind of robbed of now. Like you're like what, 28, 29. I'm like
29.
I'm like, I'm like 36. So it's like when I was sort of like coming of age, it's like we didn't have such a quick of a feedback loop on our looks, like we were awkward as fuck middle school, high school. I was awkward as fuck in college. I had braces, short hair. I was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You take like, I didn't get a cell phone until I was a junior in college. You get a wind up camera, you get your photos back like 2 weeks later. We didn't know that we weren't hot and it wasn't important, and then people didn't care. And now with like social media, like these girls like starting from such a young age, like there's this concern and like importance on being hot, and like everyone likes to be hot. Like I like when guys check me out. Like I like being sexy. I love buying like fun lingerie. Like I love like looking good in my clothes and like and all that. It's just like a little bit sad that you can't have your awkward time. And I can't imagine like the pressure, like the ingrained pressure that there's just, that was not part of the deal like 15 years ago. And I think like at the end of the day, like, I guess dudes do kind of, and if you kind of tend to like younger women, I think it's a big learning moment for like dudes out there. It's like, okay, you probably should check. Like you should probably, maybe you should set a Google alert and put it in your calendar when this
and we got to be like, why are you even into, I was just tweeting about this. Like if you're 25 and you date someone who's 19, that's a big difference than being like 40 and into an 18-year-old. If you're 40 and into an 18-year-old, we got to know like what the fuck is wrong with you, because that's too weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's it's what do you have in common with that?
Right.
You know?
And it's like you and I, like you hear a girl in her 20s, even like now, like a girl in her young 20s or teens, like as soon as they open your mouth, you're like, oh, honey, like you're still a baby. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think like for some guys, like, there is the feeling of power and like influence and like that's certain, like, like they're kind of just, they don't know any better. And like a certain kind of guy like can totally take advantage of that. Like I remember being 11 years old on the diving team, and like some older kid, he was like 15. He told me, he's like, you're gonna be really hot when you get older. And I was like, oh, it was like the biggest high, you know, like when you get that, it's like that first feedback from guys, right? Because you're just like, oh, living your life. And I remember being like, I would go in AOL chat rooms and talk to guys and lie about my age and like talk dirty, whatever. They never like, you know, had sex with anybody like that much older than me, because I was like a prude. Like I would do everything. I was like the everything but girl. I was, you know, because I just had like a fear.
I'm still that girl.
Oh, good. I mean, like, because people, you got to be careful. So I get it. I remember being that young and feeling a sense of power over like being able to turn a guy on. But now looking back, it's like, okay, yes, that's fun and cool, but you are in a vulnerable position to be taken advantage of. And, and I think so too. I think if you're in your 40s and you just seem to be attracted to teenage girls, like that might be something to look at, because like, especially now with like, women are taking like better care of themselves, like Botox. It's like, you can look like you're 19 and like be in your 20s and 30s. Like you can find a young looking, cute, age appropriate person, but like, it's definitely a mess right now. And we'll see. I mean, I think ultimately, like, you're not going to change like the fabric of stand-up comedians. Like a lot of us are kind of pervy and like we have all the same qualities as somebody who, you know what I mean? Like you're a risk taker. You're not making the best choices in life. Like if you're pursuing stand-up comedy, you're probably not like, you know, worried about security. I like very much, like even in your description for your podcast, it was all about like being misunderstood, you know, and I can't imagine like I'm considered like good looking for a female comic, which the bar is very low. The bar is very low on that.
You're
but
beautiful.
Thank you. I can't imagine like for example, like if you like pose nude or you put out a calendar that was like nearly nude, right? Do you feel like if somebody like a model or somebody who's just like you trying to do podcasts and other things, like do you feel like it's difficult to come back from posing nude or doing nearly nudes or whatever? Do you feel like, well, once that's out there, do people judge you for like scaling it back and doing other things?
I think that the best thing they say, like post for the job that you want, post for, you know, what you want to be. I think like people change so much over time. I mean, look at Kim Kardashian.
Oh my God, she's a lawyer now. Yeah.
And like, I don't think that you can be defined by one event, or I mean some people can, but I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of flexibility. I think you decide what the world will see you as, and as long as you believe it, I mean, people will. It's a weird thing that humans do, and if you're authentic and you're like, no, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, people feel it. And that's one of the rare gifts that humans have. Like we really can smell authenticity. Like we know when someone's full of shit and we know when they're not, and it doesn't have to be taught. We can just feel it and we buy it. So if you're being authentic with what you're doing and you're always, you know, I think people go for it.
For sure.
Nude or not nude.
Yeah. I just can't imagine like I don't know. People probably ask you all the time, like, what your DMs are like, but I imagine there's some sort of like filtering system. I mean, like, you have like millions of followers on social media, and I just like, I get overwhelmed because I feel like even on Twitter, like, I have to answer everybody back. I have to like their comments. I just like, I'm lucky that like enough people, like, I've been with the same guy for 5 years, so I know that if I were still single, there'd be way more dick pics in my inbox. Although I did just get a dick pic from my dad's best friend literally last week. Yes.
On purpose?
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And all my guy friends and my boyfriend are like, yeah, he's my dad's best friend, but like, I've always referred to him as like an uncle because like, that's how he is. He's always checking in, like, sweetest, nicest, coolest dude.
It's always
funny.
the uncle.
Yeah. It's a very uncle. Come to my shows, coolest, best dude, like love the guy. Great. And then, on Wednesday I get like in a message, you know, hey, name of not me, name of not his wife. Like, yeah, like, what do you think of this? Like, written in his tone of voice.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of miles on this body. This could be in an AARP catalog. And I was like, and then I was like, first of all, I was like, he's been hacked. And then I was like looking at his arms and I was like, those look like his tattoos. And then my boyfriend was like, yeah, I feel like that was intentional because I've always felt like he was a little bit attracted to you. But at the same time, you're like, this is my dad's best friend, you know? And then he sent me a couple messages, you know, in like the last couple of days, like regular ass. Oh, like, you know, hope your boyfriend had a good Father's Day, you know, like regular ass checking in messages. I still haven't responded. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
That is weird.
Nothing could have prepared me for that.
That's sick. That's terrible. Oh my God.
You know, it's like, I mean, I save it. I do look at it from time to time now. It's really weird.
Oh, sorry.
I lost you.
Wait, I'm coming back.
Okay.
I was trying to move something out of my way, actually. Okay. There we go.
Do you feel like you get a lot of like hate for being like hot, or do you are you like, you know, is that coming at you a lot, especially now that you're like doing a podcast and obviously like there's more to you than like being hot?
Yeah, no, of course. People hate that shit. And they hate the boobs too. That just drives people nuts.
Why do people hate your boobs?
You know, I think it's because they're real. I think it adds an extra element of like, I can't relate to her at all. You know what I mean? I think when you see someone with big boobs, but they're fake, people are like, oh, like she's like me. She had this done. And it almost makes them more mad when they haven't. But I've gotten more, I mean, I rarely get a mean comment from a girl these days. It's really? Never. Okay, good. Yeah. In the beginning it was like that, but I mean, it's once in a blue moon. It's really not happening anymore. But guys definitely get mad. It was so funny. This week I posted about my podcast. I posted a video portion of it for the first time on Instagram. And when you do anything new, you can expect like 20% haters. Like I was ready for it. And this one guy, he goes, what did he say? He said, oh, wow, they're just giving anyone a podcast these days. I can't.
Oh, come on. What an asshole. First of all, there's no person handing out podcasts. Like it's up to the individual to like start it. You can do everything on your own. There's no.
Yeah, I was like, I decided I got a podcast. I made it. I produced it. Like I figured it the fuck out. So you think that I'm just like some girl giving something. I actually made that shit, you know? But yeah, it drives them nuts. But it's always the people who don't do, who have a lot to say and criticize.
Yeah. And although like I'll get a negative comment or something and like initially I'm like, you know, like I had to fucking roast him back or something. And then you just go like, this person is like a crumb. Like there are people who are like jealous, or I'm sure like, and I find with guys, like if a guy is throwing at you something negative, it's because like you're triggering something in them, like, oh, well, she would never talk to me in real, like outside of the computer, right? Or like she reminds me of the girl that wouldn't give me the time of day in high school, or like
maybe
the time of day now.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guys like do this like pre-rejection thing, you know, like, oh, I'm going to tell you suck before you can like,
which is so crazy too. I'm just like, the thing is about like trolling me, it's like I am a master troll. I
really?
Yeah, such an excellent insulter. And so like I give myself the best troll work of all time. So all these people coming for me online, I'm like, you don't even hold a crumb to what like I do to myself. So fuck off. Like, this is so novice, you know?
Oh, meaning like you're not going to be like what I'm already
like,
hearing in my head.
I'm very honest with myself. So my shortcomings, like things I don't like, I live a very like honest life. So it's when someone comes to troll me, if there ever is any kind of bad thing going on, I've well addressed it and punished myself for it months and months before you even figured it out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know people are just like, because for me, like, it's like, you're not going to do better than like the voices in my head, you know?
Right.
At this point, like after I've been like trolled a bunch, it's like, I've heard every possible insult, like what I look like. And you're like, all right, now it's just like, I want to hear something original.
Yeah. And it's like they should team up and choose one insult together, because when one guy in the same day tells me I'm too fat and the other one says I'm too skinny, now I just think I can't trust this audience. So it's like, you guys need to pick one, be on a team, try to get me that way. It's never going to work, but just go for it.
Yeah, they need to team up. So you were a Playboy Playmate, correct me if I'm wrong, or you were?
No, I modeled for Playboy online.
Ooh, how did that happen?
Oh my God, I went to a casting in Dallas. I was determined to be a Playmate in the magazine, but I wasn't that pretty yet. I was still going through some like awkward stages, but I did have a great life. Yeah. So, but I ended up posing with them online. It was so crazy. I'm in the magazine, the Real American magazine, and I'm fully clothed. So years later, I ended up doing an interview with Playboy, and it's about me and my podcast and my life, and it's just like completely clothed. And I'm like, wow, this is really a 180.
It's like not how you saw yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I was determined to be in the magazine, but it's just,
Good for you. And were you at the Playboy Mansion?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there for a few parties. Oh, that's actually where I met Dan Bilzerian.
Wow.
A fateful Halloween night. Yeah.
Aw. And everybody was in costume. Did you like get a tour? Like, did you see like the underground tunnels and?
Oh yeah. I was drinking. I was on an adventure. It was actually the first week I moved to LA too, and I knew no one. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I barely got invited to this party. I don't even know the people who invited me. They said, meet me at the Roosevelt, wear a costume, we'll get you in. And I just like said, okay, hell yeah. So I went to this party not knowing a soul. But yeah, I saw the grotto, and I remember there was like a room with a pinball machine kind of thing. It was cool. But the house it looks so huge online, on TV, and it's kind of smaller in real life.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Were there tunnels that came up from the grotto? Because there's like known tunnels there that were, supposedly like made during the 70s. They would go to like Jack Nicholson's house, James Caan's house, Kirk Douglas.
Oh.
Were they, and this was like something that came up, I think in March, might have been March or April, they were like doing this big like excavation and like digging out those tunnels. Was that like a known thing? Was that like, were people trying
I have no idea. I have no
really?
idea.
Oh
no,
my God.
I didn't
hear
anything about it.
Okay, that's cool. Cause I figured like, all right, it's just so interesting. Cause I was like, wow, that could be, okay, these guys wanted a way in and out, or they would like pick up girls from the mansion, and then like that would be their way of being inconspicuous. But like that also points to like a possible, sex trafficking thing too. And like I'm sure all sorts of fucking crazy shit has gone down there, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, it must've been cool to go there. And that's where you met Dan. And then like, so that's so funny, like, because we never get famous or blow up in the way that we like think or would like to, right? So like for you, it came down to this like slow motion run video.
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
Dan, when we met, I moved here with like 250,000 followers. So at the time, that was a lot. Like that is
a lot. That's still a lot now.
It's still a lot. Yeah. At the time, it was crazy. And Dan was like, wow, like your boobs are real. You do this. He goes, I'm going to make you internet famous. And I was like, haha, I like could care less. And he was like, he set me up with a photographer. His name was Live Rich Media. And we ended up doing a video. So like Dan produced this whole shoot. Like he set this up and like took care of it. And then that was it.
That seems like so nice of him. It seems almost like he's kind of like a scout. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like, I'm appreciative for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Did he like hit on you off the bat, or did it like, you know, I mean,
it was so weird. I went up to him. So actually his security came up to me and they go, "Hey, do you want to meet Dan Bilzerian?" Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah.
This is at the Playboy Mansion. You're in a costume.
Yeah.
And then someone comes up to you. Do you want to meet Dan Bilzerian? Oh my God.
Within like the first bar with the first drink, I'd barely been in there.
Wow.
And so I went up to him and it was so funny because they were actually, TMZ had come by to like interview him or film him or something. So he grabs me and then I'm like in the frame. And he looks at me and he goes, "I like the way you jiggle." That's the first thing he told me. And
like,
then
great.
I literally, I'm so smug. I looked at him and I was like, "This is what the real thing looks like." And then that was it. Like the most like pervy exchange ever. But
yeah, good for you. You're like, cause most people like, you know, they can't fathom like somebody having like big real boobs. Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird. I followed him online before I moved here and I knew of him and I ended up unfollowing him because I got a little jealous. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy would love me if he ever met me. And like,
really?
So I unfollowed him. Yeah.
What were you jealous of?
I think sometimes if I get jealous over people doing a job I know I could do or something I know I could do better. So when Dan is like having all these like hot girls or whatever, I would get jealous because I'm like, oh, I would be like the best. I can't follow Sports Illustrated like swimsuit stuff because it frustrates me because I would.
Really?
I love it. Yeah, I'm like a fan, but I just feel like I feel
like that's such a typical like Taurus quality.
Probably.
Competitiveness. That's really interesting. So
yeah.
It's almost like you kind of like manifested it. You're like, I know if he met me, like he would love me. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Did he like, was he like straight up like, oh, like, you know how some guys like put it out there, like, you know, we could hook up, or was it more just like, he likes to gather up girls, or is it more just like trying to hook up?
Oh, he was so trying to hook up. And at the Playboy Mansion, I was like, absolutely not. Like we just met, like this is never happening. But we ended up going to his house after. And so not only did I go to the Playboy Mansion for the first time, I went to Dan's house, which he lived in this immaculate mansion over the hills. And I'd never been in a mansion before. I don't think I've been in a house.
Like? Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so stunning. I mean, this is the first time just being in a house like this, in a city like this. It was ridiculous. The house is beautiful. I remember there was just, in his kitchen, there was just fruit everywhere. It was like a cornucopia, like something an Egyptian king would have. Like it was just, everything was just next level.
And it wasn't plastic?
Yeah, no, it was real. Everything was real. It's crazy.
So yeah, tons of fruit, huge house. Were there just like girls around like throw pillows? That's what I imagine.
There was some random girls, I remember. There was definitely some random girls. Oh yeah, I'll have to tell you those stories, but it was cool. Yeah, he really does live the dream. It's like, it's funny too. People always ask, they're like, is that real? Like, is that really his lifestyle? Or is it all a show? And it's like, he's 100% real.
Yeah. I mean, people like to hate on him because he's successful. Like, yeah, he had some kind of a, like loan from his parents to start his business, but he's also just like one of these guys that I feel like is just like a mega attractor and like just fucking goes for it. Like I was following him before he started the Ignite company, which is like the cannabis, THC, like all things vaping. And he was just like a typical Playboy. Like I remember like I would follow his Instagram and I saw this picture of like him in like a human soup, like surrounded by women all in this hot tub. And they were like, and I just was like, cause I sometimes will troll too and like just comment funny things. And I like wrote in all caps, like, where are the women of color? You know, cause it just happened to like all be white girls. But it's weird. Like you see somebody like that, like you're like, you hate them, but then it's like, I ultimately like, I admire him. He's like making it work. Like he's doing his thing. Do you guys are you guys still friends?
Yeah, we're still cool. We chat every now and then. He's good.
That's cool. Yeah. I wonder, do you think he would ever like make a video of me slow motion running? Cause I feel like I could,
Why not? He's good at it for sure.
I would be like, there's a lot more that's jiggling, but if, that's what the people want to see, like,
Yeah.
That's really cool. I remember, cause I was like researching you a little bit. You were a bartender before getting into like modeling and moving to LA, cause you were a bartender in Louisiana.
Yeah.
I was a bartender too. I worked at this place called the Patriot in New York City, and holy shit, I had no experience. I had no qualifications. I just was like looking around. I was like, I need to get a job, and I saw this board outside that said "Shameless Saturday Night Sluts Wanted," and I was like, that sounds like me. So I like just went in. I had like literally no experience. I think the guy just like gave me a once over and was like, "You're hired," and I remember I had to like. The guy was a serious alcoholic. Like he owned Coyote Ugly, Yogi's, like a few like really well-known bars in the city. You'd be picturing like a hot guy in a suit, right? You'd be picturing like a Dan Bilzerian, but this guy was like bloated and gross. Like his hands were bloated. Like he just would come in and like drink and then pass out on the floor. And one night, like, after we were done, like the night guys like mopping around him. I was like, well, we just leave him there? That's what we do? And they're like, yeah, he'll get up at some point. I was like, holy fucking shit. I remember one time like a guy like confused me for another one of the bartenders. They're like, oh, are you not Patience? What's a synonym for Patience? Her name was maybe it was Patience actually. and he thought I was her, and he was like, oh, can you do birthday candles? It's my birthday. And I was like, what? And then I realized that she would do this thing where she would get her nipples hard. She would like use like a paper match, light a paper match, split the end of it, put it on each nipple, and then like she would just like let a guy blow. That was birthday candles. And then she would just let whoever blow out the matches. Did not request any sort of ID. There was no birthday check. There was no God. Let me make sure you could literally anyone could go up to you and be like, oh, it's my birthday.
That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I did not make good money. Like I was, we were pooling tips. So I was like, why are we all doing the birthday candles? Like, why did you have like anything like that happen to you bartending? Like, did you have people like say creepy shit or?
Oh my God. The creepiest stuff. I worked at Hooters for 4 years, and then I bartended at a place called Twin Peaks, which is like Hooters on steroids.
Is that in Louisiana or was this
Louisiana? Yeah. And I actually bartended at a strip club. I bartended at a penthouse club. Ooh. And it was ironic because that's where I wore the most clothes. So I'd be there in like black pants and a blazer. Because the bartenders are very profesh,
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like it was, all the bars have a different vibe. But yeah, it was a fun experience. There were some psycho people. Like just customers are so entitled and just fucking nuts. But it was fun. We survived.
Yeah, I would have this guy like he'd order like a PBR and just like nurse it for 2 hours, and it's like, you have spent $3 here. Like, where do you get off?
Yeah.
I want to know, where the hell is your Louisiana accent?
I don't know. I think I watched too much TV growing up, and instead of mimicking the people around me, I mimicked the TV people.
What would you like to watch?
Barney. No, I don't know. I watch everything. When I was younger, I watched like Dukes of Hazzard, but I guess they had an accent too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I just never got one. It didn't sound attractive to me.
Yeah, I think you probably just had like the self-awareness to like self-correct along the lines. Like, because I'm from Long Island, which is like not a pretty accent. Like, I'm from Long Island. This is how I should sound because I like to drink coffee and eat a bagel. And then I went to college and I was like, I think I want to be like a news lady. So then I started to like become aware of it. Although like when I have a couple of these, it comes right on back out. And then,
oh my God.
Yeah, I'll people be like, are you from Long Island? I heard you said coffee. So yeah. It's crazy. How have you enjoyed like having a podcast so far? Like what?
It's a lot of fun. I really like connecting in a different way because I feel like, people always see the image of me. So now they get to have this long form conversation. You really can't you really figure someone's personality out when you talk to them and when it lasts a long time. So it's been a lot of fun. And I love meeting with guests and promoting all of their activities and all the stuff they have on. It's been good.
Who have been like your favorite, or like if someone's brand new and just hearing about your podcast, like who have been your favorite people to interview? Like if you could pick like just a couple to direct people
God,
to.
it's so hard. It's really so
It
hard.
is so hard because everyone you have
yeah.
on, like you love. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them all. And then sometimes the content, it's just natural. And some, like, even one of my favorite ones is me and my assistant. And while we were in quarantine,
Aw.
and I forgot what we were talking about, but it was just like when I reheard it, I couldn't stop listening to it. And I was like, okay, like that conversation was fantastic. But sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's normal. And that's just, it's fun.
I wish so badly I had an assistant. Like I would have her just take one of those like foot shavers and I'd be like, girl, you got to work on those calluses. I can't even fathom having an assistant. Like it would be so fucking great, but that is
life-changing.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just social media alone is a full-time job, like posting.
Yeah. It's really changed my life. This is the first assistant I've ever had because it's hard choosing someone to share your life so intimately with because it's a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how do you begin to find somebody that you can trust like that?
And it's borderline impossible. And this person was recommended to me through someone that I trust so much. And it was just like fate and perfect timing. And she's amazing. So it's, yeah, definitely I sought it out and put it into the universe. And finally she came to my world. I sound like I'm talking about like a lover, but truly it's like having a business partner that like
it's just as important. It's just as important because she has to know all your passwords, all your shit. She has to look out for you. She's like, you know, she has to have your back, you know.
Totally.
She's the one that's seeing all your dick pics, you know?
Yeah. And I think too, like I used to be really resentful. It's just fucked up. But like I used to be so jealous online of like other Instagram people or social media influencers who had like husbands or parents who helped them. Or like,
you mean like financially or just
like, even in the just helping them take the photos and helping them do this, like any kind of assistance I was very jealous of and resentful for. I'm like, oh, like I'm doing this all like no one's on my team.
Is that yeah. Do you think that's because like you moved or do you feel like your family like just wouldn't be supportive in that way?
Yeah, my family is definitely, they're supportive, but they're not the stage mom hand holders. They're not going to show for media castings. Like they're grown ass people, you know, they're like, you can figure it out in your own world, which is good. It made me who I am. But yeah, I've never had that with anyone.
I feel you because I get jealous of when I see like other stand-up comics. It's like, oh, this person's never had to have a day job. They've never had to like roll their sleeves up and like just work somewhere and, you know, feel shitty for years. Like they just have rich parents and they can just go to open mics. They can just like perform and like focus on their craft and they don't have to like fucking answer phones 8 hours a day. So
yeah,
I totally feel it. Do you ever feel, Lindsey, like do you ever feel pressured to like get into porn or like, you know, in the sense like take the nude modeling further? Like do you have people like snapping at you for that?
Oh, well, definitely. I just started an OnlyFans page.
Oh,
and
nice.
So people want me to go like full X-rated, and that's hilarious. To be honest, me personally in my life, I'm going to make more money doing it the way I'm doing it. Like being a glamour girl, selling the teas and like the sexy, like that's what I'm good at. I'm probably not even a good lover on camera. Like that's not my talent. Yeah, that's not why I would never anyway. Like I could never. But yeah, no, I don't feel any pressure at all. And I love what I do. I think there's always a market for everything. So there's, you know, full blown adult stars, and then there's high fashion models, and then there's glamour. And I've always been into the Playmate stuff and, you know, Pamela Anderson, like that is.
I love her. I love her so much. I looked up to her. I was like, I would Baywatch. Oh my God. She was the OG of the slow run, you know?
Yeah. So that's just more my style.
And also too, it's like, I'm sure, I mean, I haven't seen your like calendar, but you said like it's nearly nude. I mean, I feel like that's going to be as close as you can get. I mean, do you like have to see my fucking nipple, you know? Like,
yeah, I think it's so much fun when you don't like, and I just think when you see, it's just like dating, you know? So unless you're already in a relationship and they get naked, it's like, it's fun kind of selling the fantasy.
Yeah. Like why it's really nice to like leave something to the imagination and like not feel like you have to put everything out there, because you don't, and like you shouldn't feel pressured. I think that's part of like being a grown-ass woman. You realize like, oh, like I can have boundaries, and it's like kind of better in a way, like because people are gonna like pine for that even more. Like I have people who were like, oh, like you need, you know, and I might still definitely do an OnlyFans, but I'm like I would have people be like, you gotta sell your nudes, and it's like, well then what? Like now that's out there, people are gonna screenshot, people are gonna share it, it's gonna be on fucking Reddit.
You can post whatever you want, and that's what it's been really successful for me. I'm in like the top 0.01% of the whole platform. Thank you. But it's been really successful, just like pushing the boundaries of sexy. But like I'm not on there putting a cucumber up my butt for $20. Like, that's never gonna happen. And it's weird. There are actually some people who are so entitled that they think that I'll ever be encouraged or in some way manipulated to do something I don't want to do. And I'm just like, no, bro, like this is, and honestly, the page is for your fans. So my fans know what I'm about and they're interested in the content anyway. So it's like, you know. It's
fascinating, the entitlement of the because of course, like we're all like grateful for our fans. That's like, that goes without saying. But what I don't appreciate is, and I'm sure you get this a lot too, is like, yeah, just because you put let's say you put this much out there, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing the most? Yeah. Like, why aren't you, oh, XYZ person does this, why aren't you? And it's like, what the, it's like, that really,
yeah,
like that pisses me off. Like I'll have fans like, oh, like they just critique everything, every single thing I do. Like, why isn't your podcast like the show you do on Compound Media? Like, why aren't you getting naked? Like, why, you know, it bothers me so much, like that people think they can sort of like cajole you into just like.
I had people very mad that I started at OnlyFans. They go, why would you need money for this or blah, blah, blah. The thing is, Instagram really changed their algorithm and it doesn't really support sexy content. Oh yeah. They actually
that's right. All my friends that are porn stars are getting like shadow banned across the board. Yeah.
And they even demote what's called vaguely inappropriate comment. And that can literally be a picture of me with a lot of cleavage. So I studied the analytics really hard. So, and Snapchat is similar. I've spoken with Snapchat. Like the platforms are very, you know, they're not sexy friendly. And so I made an OnlyFans because it's a place where I can post whatever I want anyway. But people are so mad about the money aspect. And I told one guy on Twitter, like, I've been posting, shooting, tweeting, and now podcasting for free for like 5 years now. Like I'm due for this, if I'm being honest. Like
you put the work in.
Yeah. And honestly, like being paid directly from your fans for the first time, it's really helped me realize how grossly underpaid I've been by brands and like all this other bullshit, because now I see it and I see the connection that I can make. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of life-changing.
I need to do that shit. I mean, like, I'm not gonna, I don't know. I feel like I'm 10 pounds away from fucking crushing OnlyFans, but I've been saying that like the whole quarantine. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fun. What people don't realize. Like, it's like a lot. It's by the time you're on OnlyFans, it's like you've put out so much for free. And that's what they don't realize is they feel like kind of entitled to you, but it's like, you're like a person too, who needs to like take breaks and.
Yeah. And for me, every dollar I make is going to go back into my business. Like, you know, I'm saving up for a house, and it's not just because I want a house. It's because I want a house I can shoot in, and I want a house I can film in all the time. And I want to just like keep everything on the up and up. My money, you know, I don't own one Chanel bag, but I'll get a publicist. Like that's where my
good for you. Lie. That shit makes so much more sense. Like that's what I realized too. Like this quarantine has taught me so much about like my own spending, and it's like it's less on like frivolous shit and like a lipstick because it makes me feel better. It's like put this towards a new microphone, put this towards new headshots, put this towards like a new light, you know, a Libsyn account, whatever. And it's really changed, like, you know, your money, where you put your money is like where you put your goals and like where you're keeping yourself. Where do you think you would like, so where do you think you'd want to live? Like if you bought a house?
I'm looking in Hollywood Hills, so I can afford.
You could be neighbors with Dan.
Oh my God, I wish. His street is very expensive. So I don't think I'll be on there anytime soon, but I'm hoping like, there's some beautiful houses in like Beverly Glen that's out near Beverly Hills in the mountains. And then there's Laurel Canyon, but I like the hills. Like I moved here that's where it just feels right. It's very sexy in the Hollywood Hills. I don't know if you saw, did you watch, what was it? The Hollywood movie with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was just starting to think about buying a home at that time. And there's a very specific point in the movie where Leonardo DiCaprio, he goes, once you get a little money, you need to buy a house in the hills, because then the directors, all these people, they're your neighbors, and you never know what could happen.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, damn. I was like, it spoke to me. But so that's really, you know, that's where I want to be for sure.
That's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm never going to have, no, I will have money. I just like don't. Yeah. I was in LA in March, like right before the coronavirus shit happened. Like I was there for 10 days. And then on my 10th day, it was March 5th or something, or no, it was March 13th or 12th. And like everything was getting locked down. Like my podcasts were getting canceled. And I was staying at the, what is it called? It was like the Andaz Hotel, which is like right next to the Comedy Store. Yeah, beautiful view. And I was like, and I went to some party. My friend Jeff Leach, who's a comedian too, brought me to this like kind of house party of these like sort of like IT nerds or whatever. I think it was like probably the nicest house I've been to ever. I don't know if it was like a mansion, but it was pretty big, and there was like pools and stuff. And there's definitely a feeling to like anytime you're in somebody's house that has like a lot of money, and they're like, oh, like I was just hanging out by the garbage can that was a motion sensor. Like I was just like, oh wow, this is next level for me. Like I can just wave my hand and open the trash can. Have you ever been like sort of propositioned for anything like selling panties or selling like your socks or anything like that?
Yeah. And I'm actually thinking about doing it, but not in that way. Like I'm thinking, so I have really nice lingerie that I've had to shoot in. I have like mountains of lingerie, and it's very expensive lingerie.
It is.
And
That's what people don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful, like designer, high end. And I'm just thinking like, I need to get rid of it. And there's no reason that I shouldn't sell it. So I'm thinking about doing like a really nice like collector's box where I have like the original photos, and then like a Polaroid, and then the pretty lingerie, but like something that's just some way nicer than just like selling used panties. Like I want to make it really cool. That is
so brilliant. Yeah, like a photo from the shoot, and then like the set. Do you want to sell it because like you're sick of looking at it and you just have too much, or
truly. Yeah, and I mean if someone wants it, I think it's great. I don't know, I think it'd be fun, easy way for some quick money. But
Absolutely.
I have to get rid of it. Yeah, because I need to make more room for more stuff to come in.
What is your favorite, like, what are your favorite brands? Like, who do you like?
I still love Agent Provocateur.
Oh, always. Me too.
Always fire. Always an experience. Lately, I found I've been styling myself out of a showroom that I work with here in LA. So I pull designer stuff like a stylist now. So I've added that to my resume. Yeah, so now I don't just buy things. I'll actually go and rent them. And it's weird. It's like a full process that I've learned to do. But
where can you rent lingerie from?
Well, there's, in LA, they have like showrooms. And so designers are like stylists will pull from these showrooms. And so I made relationships with this showroom that's huge. It's like walking into Barbie's dream closet, and everything's designer. And it's so when I have a red carpet, I'll actually go style myself. And I'll pull all these looks, and I'll pick what works best. And then you get a dry clean, you rent it for the day. But like I'll rent these Jimmy Choo shoes for like $40 for the night. So I didn't have to buy them, but I had them. Right? Isn't it fun?
That really seems like a good deal. Yeah, that really is.
Yeah.
My sister gave me a pair of like Jimmy Choo shoes. I haven't worn them once because she was like, she's a teacher, and she's like, let's be honest, I'm not wearing high heels. Like, you know, she's like, I'm 39, I'm done. But I just haven't worn them. Yeah,
it's fun. I just borrow them, and I make sure not to do anything ratchet so that they don't get ruined.
Just like make sure nobody comes on them. I don't know. Yeah.
Like, literally.
Are you seeing anybody right now? Are you booed up?
Yeah, I have someone. We're definitely in it's complicated stage. He's involved in a TV show.
Okay.
That is a reality show.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I wish it was that, actually. No, he's young, he's hunky. He's on like an MTV reality show. And the whole premise of him on the show has been his dating life with someone else. He's always been someone else's love interest.
Aww.
Yes, but we ended up meeting on the show, and we've dated for almost 2 years now. And the show is coming back, and I don't know if we're seeing eye to eye on the expectations of the show and what I will and will not tolerate. I run a tight ship in my relationship, so I just don't know. It's going to work.
Okay, yeah. I guess I have no clue, but it's like my only frame of reference would be something like The Bachelor, where like they have to ultimately like pick a person, and then but they have to be like seen like with, you know, a certain way. That must be really difficult, because it's like I would imagine like then you can't like be seen out in public with like who you really like. You know what I mean? Like so much can happen in that much time.
Totally. And I want to be supportive, but I don't, you know, I have a life to live too. And it really has to fit my lifestyle too. So we'll see. Stressful. I kind of wish this Corona quarantine stuff, because it halted their production and filming. Right. And I kind of wish it would just go ahead and go on, and I can quit worrying about what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Like, it's frustrating. Have you like met family?
Oh yeah. We spent Christmases at his family, my family. We're very, very serious. So that's what makes it really difficult.
Oh, that is so frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It'll be very entertaining though, for sure. No matter what happens.
Yeah. You guys get like tattoos. Be like, look, are you happy?
I know.
It's like, yeah.
Like, what are you going to do now?
It's got to be really difficult. Yeah, I know with like comedy, like so many comics end up like dating each other and like banging around. And then when I was younger, when I was like brand new into comedy, I made like so many mistakes. I just was like, oh, sure. And then, but you do have to be careful about.
Yeah.
Did you have to, is it like, not that he would make you sign an NDA, but there's probably like certain things like you just like can't say, or.
Like I can't, I'm sure that I've already signed something where I can't share any details of the show.
Okay.
And it's not my show. Like I'm not a full-time cast member. I'm nothing like, the show called me and set me up with him, but I'm not really involved with the show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's his thing. So it's kind of a pickle, because I can easily, you know, I know what's going on. I know kind of what he tells me what to expect, but I can never say those things to, you know, the public or my Instagram audience. So I'm kind of keeping their secrets, and I'm really generous about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll like lift up sometime soon. What do you think, other than the podcast, do you have any other, like, what do you see yourself doing or growing into?
So I have, I invested in a restaurant here in LA. I own a portion of a Mexican restaurant. It's plant-based. It's called Sugar Taco. And so I have a team of women investors with me. And so we're always doing projects for Sugar Taco. We're working with a local charity right now called the Think Watts Foundation. I've been raising money for them with all my merchandise sales. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself.
That's great.
This year I have a goal, philanthropy goal for the first time. I want to at least donate like 10 grand somewhere.
Oh my God.
I'm chipping away at that. Yeah.
What about donating to like a needy New York City female comedian?
we could involve that, you know, as long as it's tax deductible. Yeah, no, but so I'm going to keep on with that. And with my OnlyFans, I've been creating so much new content and sexy content. And with the podcast, I've been making all this content. So I'm kind of thinking about streamlining it and getting a production company and filming all of it. So instead of waiting around for my reality shows or being casted where someone can decide my image or how I look, I think I'm going to make my own and just start it on YouTube and see what's going to happen from there. So that's what we're working on right now.
Girl, you can like wholly 100% do that, because like that's the trend also in comedy too. Like people are less relying on like a Netflix or an HBO to like debut their special. People are just like shooting it themselves and putting it out on YouTube. And it's like, it's really like the best time for not needing somebody else to
and
decide.
No one owns it.
Yeah.
Especially with cancel culture, and like I'm not a dickhead, but like I can fail easily. Like someone can fail.
Anybody can. Yeah,
anybody. And it's like I don't want to. If I own all my projects, I'm really gonna secure myself in the long term instead of relying on these people.
Good for you. You're smart as fuck, Lindsey. This was so great. I'm obsessed with you. We're gonna be friends.
Yay.
Where can people find you? Where do you want to point people to? I mean, other than Instagram, Twitter. What's your OnlyFans?
It's at Lindsey Pelas too. So onlyfans.com/Lindsey Pelas. I'm doing like the sexiest, craziest shit on there.
Ooh,
and I'm gonna
I love
keep it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it really fun. So there's a lot that we have planned, but you can follow me.
You're gone.
This goddamn Zoom. Okay, yeah, you can follow me literally anywhere at Lindsey Pelas and check out my podcast, Eyes Up Here. And you're gonna be a guest on Eyes Up Here. My engineer was like, I have commission today, but maybe tomorrow we'll figure it out.
Awesome.
We'll do that
Sounds
too.
great.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, Lindsey.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.